Yeah, we're almost streaming here. Yeah, so yeah, Mason. So yeah, last time I saw you at the harbor and the waves were kind of lowly, but there was a couple beefy sets and I didn't even realize you were out there until I looked to the inside and you were ripping on the inside and all the old guys are on the outside all kind of chasing down one or two waves, man. How do you keep that going, man? How do you have the patience to sit on the inside and
Man, the inside, I know the harbor so well. It's like in the back of my mind. And yeah, that's just I always let the older guys get the right of way, first waves. So I just take like the what's it called? Not as good ones.
yeah, the ones that slip
But
through?
but I mean surfing any type of wave is better for competitions. You never know the conditions. Especially on the East Coast, like Florida, it's tiny. So surfing the inside's a good practice for that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, I'll tell you what, we all appreciate that, us old guys out there.
Yeah, I
But
know my
yeah,
dad does.
I like to see you on the outside. I think towards the end of my session, you were creeping out there, and yeah, that was cool. It was good to see you surfing. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining Pro Surf Blog today for some epic surf news. And today I'm here with Oceanside surfer Mason O'Toole. How's it going, brother?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. It's been a minute since we talked on a podcast, anyways. And so we'll get into some of what Mason's been doing after we touch on a few recent events. Today, I want to start with Tahiti. I had a podcast the other day where I talked a little bit about it, but I'm going to share a couple screens here or a screen here, Mason. And so, as you guys, everybody knows, this event is going to start up in about 2 days, and that has a window of like 10, 11 days or 9 days rather. Once the event gets going, I'm sure it's just going to be a day or two. So what was kind of interesting about this one is I noticed that it's sponsored by Shishido, but it's also presented by Outerknown, which is, I think, a phenomenon this year where people who are actually competing or actually have something to do with some of the sponsors or in this case presenters. So I know that we had like Florence Marine was did one of the earlier events this year as well. So kind of interesting times. So Mason, I pulled up here the top five going into the event. On the men's side, we got Griffin, Jack, John, Ethan, and Jordy. And then on the women's side, uh, Caity, Johanne, Molly, Brisa, and Gabriela. So just to kind of, I don't know who you're rooting for on the men's side. What are you thinking is going to happen over there?
The whole top five can barrel ride. So it's gonna be pretty interesting going into Tahiti. I know like Ethan Ewing's more of a rail guy, but he can definitely get barreled too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been really thinking that John's gonna do something again. He's having a really good year.
Mm-hmm.
But then like you don't even see Gabriel in the top five. So I think after Chopu, he might be creeping into the top 10, getting closer.
Yeah, I think I have a screenshot a few more of the rankings there, but I think Gabriel's like barely made the cut this year, which
Yeah.
is crazy. I know they may have underscored him. I know there was some drama a couple times on his scores, and yeah, that was kind of a trip. Um, yeah, he's amazing, and John, man, I always root for John, but he's so hit and miss. Yeah, it's hard to put a finger on like what's going on. And then I heard he's actually might retire already. So
Oh, really? I didn't even hear that.
yeah, I think I
But
just saw something the other day or something like that.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised because he's got both of his brands going for him.
Yeah,
So
I think he
I don't
just
know.
brought his brother on too, Nate, onto one of his brands or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, Nate and Koa, their podcast is so good. I like watching that. It was one of the few podcasts I think I like to check out. And so on the women's, well, okay, so right, so and then on the women's side, of course, we got Caity. I know you're rooting for Caity, right?
Oh yeah, of course. The whole O side's proud of her.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and over the last couple of years, I mean, she's been ripping forever, but the last couple of years, I mean, her barrel riding, her confidence, it's wow, it's definitely impressive. So, and I like her little helmet. That's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, everyone's starting to wear helmets at like pipe and choker now.
Dude,
It's
I would definitely be wearing one over
yeah,
there.
well, I would too, but like I don't know, a few years ago you didn't see too many people wearing them, but it's become like I guess more of a caution now to wear a helmet.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? I think, because it's not like a high profile team sport like football or something.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of attention paid to it, but surfers definitely get rattled. Even if you don't hit the bottom, you get rattled underwater, and so it definitely exists, and a lot of older surfers seem a little different, so that might have something to do with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so check it out. I pulled up. This is actually the championship, the people who've won the event. I just went back like I don't know to 2010, and so obviously there's a mid-season cut, and so what I kind of circled out here is that Robo, Medina, like you mentioned, and then Slater. Those are the only people I think, unless I missed Julian there, but I think those are the only three still in the cut or made the cut.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, Julian's not competing
right, right.
anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah, Kelly's in the draw too.
I know, and I mean, so if I would have went farther back on this, Kelly's won this thing a bunch of times, right? So it it kind of makes sense that they gave him a wild card because I mean, obviously, if you win as many times as he's won, I mean, you've proven something. I if I were somebody like who didn't make the cut, for example, I think I'd be a little bummed because like if Kelly's retiring, like he's not going to get the title this year and he's not going to be, competing next year. Um, how would you handle it? You've been competing lately in QS stuff, so I mean, how would you feel if you were, right below the cut?
Honestly, I think the pressure would be off because I wouldn't be chasing a title. It'd
Mhm.
just be like, oh, I'm already retired, so there's no pressure in trying to perform my best or anything. I feel like it'd just be a free surf for Kelly, which honestly could help him in the contest.
Yeah, that could be exciting. I'm just amazed. I mean, hats off to the GOAT. Man, I mean, he's been competing forever, and it's just amazing that he's, competing against, the kids of some of his past competitors and even grandkid age. So, with him retiring, though, I mean, us old guys were kind of living on that, on his wings, on his air from his wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all keep representing out in the water on the free surfs, like Kelly. And then so on the women's side, um, what it looks like is there's going to be a new Tahiti champion no matter what, because uh, none of these people, well, I guess Caroline Marks, right? But like, yeah, if you look at the top, that top five, right? Um, I think those people are all poised to win this one. Um, and I
I'm
think what's that?
I was gonna say like I'm really surprised to see like Caroline. or like Tatiana's not in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know like Caroline and Caity had the final at Chopu last year. Um, but Caroline not being in the top 5 could play a big part in a new champion.
Yeah, they kind of have this back and forth thing going on, and I think it was it 2 events ago, Caity got the best of Caroline, and then in this last one, it kind of went the other direction. But man, I mean, Caity is just looking so sharp. Well, okay, even though Caity didn't make it, to the win in the last event, through the event, I thought Caity had some of the most solid surfing over all of the girls. Some of the women, seem to have a little bit of bobble in their wave or some apprehension. And I mean, Caity just looked on fire. So I just, hopefully she does good in this one, but I think she's destined for a title and probably very soon.
Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, if they kept that event at Margaret at that left, she
Mm-hmm.
definitely would have won the event if they kept it at the left.
Yeah,
But
were they saying the waves were good too? I think when they had moved it, the waves were still working or something.
oh yeah, yeah, it was pumping at that left and at main break. I mean,
Hmm.
both venues would have been good. Um, but I think it came down to one maneuver and she just came unstuck.
Hmm.
But either way, I mean, she won bells and then backed it up with what was that, like a semi or a quarterfinal finish?
Hmm.
So she's got some really good results under her foot.
Well, I think like so, kind of just looking at those points. There's a significant gap, between her and Johanne, and then obviously down to the bottom. I mean, all the women are pretty tight, I guess, but she definitely has, it's not just by a few points that she's in the lead. So, yeah, I think she's looking really good for that. I don't know if you're doing fantasy surfing, but I just wanted to pull this one up to I don't think your dad made his picks, man. He's number 7 so far in the league.
I'm
And
beating him right now.
oh yeah.
I'm in 6th.
Oh, is that you right there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was Kyan or you. I wasn't with that name. Okay. Man,
I,
I'm tanked. I don't even know how to play the game anymore, man. I'm all messed up.
yeah, I think yeah, Margaret kind of crushed me because I had a bunch of good like I honestly expected them to run at the box
Hmm.
because I was looking at the swell, but that kind of tanked my team right there.
Yeah, I mean, it must be a really hard like decision for them to move the comp, because if the other place ends up working, they take heat. They gotta, move a whole crew from one place to another. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like a pretty big ordeal to move around. But yeah, yeah, the Australian leg is over, luckily, and maybe I can make a comeback here. But yeah, I'm just getting smoked, man. Well, actually, before I go into, let me pull this back here. Uh, so I want to talk about 2 things. Caity Simmers movie premiere. I missed it. You went down to the spot that was down at the theater down on Coast Highway.
Yeah, Star Theater.
Mm-hmm. That place
Um,
is cool, huh?
yeah, that was actually one of the best venues I think I've been to for a premiere. And
Mhm.
I also had my friend Leo. He did a premiere right before Katie gave him an open slot.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a super fun event.
So how did you got on stage and you were like doing the intro or something? How did that work out?
Yeah, so the whole night I got there early and the whole time I was kind of like, oh, like joking to Katie, like, oh, they should put me on stage. I'll do the intro. And I walked up there just to take a photo of the crowd.
Okay.
And I walked off, and the guy from Surfline,
Hmm.
uh, he handed me the mic. He was like, "Do you want to do the introduction?" And I was like, I was contemplating it. I was like, shoot, like, should I? And then I was like, you know what? I'll do it. Like it'd be super fun. So I did that. And then after or between the two premieres, we threw out a bunch of product and stuff.
Nice.
So I got on stage a few times, but it was a super fun night.
That's cool, man. So that was put on by Surfline or Stab or who put that on? Do you know?
Yeah, it was by Surfline
Mhm.
and O'Neill.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so sick sponsorship with that. Um, well, that's cool. And do you know if that is actually out for like for general public yet?
Yeah, so my buddy Leo, his movie will probably be posted in the next few days.
Okay.
He's down in Mexico,
Okay.
and then Katie's premiere is already posted on YouTube.
Okay. And then do you know what the name of Leo's movie?
I don't. I think he's been messing around with names. I think the word backyard is in there, just
Okay. And
because
then
it's a film about like everyone in Oceanside, pretty much.
okay, sick. So what do you know what his like Instagram handle is or anything like that?
Yeah, it's the word beach and then woo,
Oh,
WOO.
yeah, like Beach Wookie or something, huh? That's what I think that's what I always
Yeah,
say
so
in my head, anyways.
yeah, so Beach Wookie's his main Instagram, like his personal Instagram, and then Beach Woo is just
Mhm.
like his filming Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, he's putting out some sick edits, man. Every time I turn around, he's putting something out. Um, well, that's cool, man. Good to hear. So, the other thing, you were down at the board riders event, at least one of the days down at Lowers recently.
I didn't go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't go, but I did watch it
Okay.
when I was at work. They had it live streamed through Fuel TV.
Okay, over at Asylum Surf Shop downtown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. So, I mean, well, obviously you probably know a little bit of intel is uh Osai didn't make it.
No, so we had a 2 point lead against Carlsbad going into the second event. And then I think we had like a few interferences and maybe I believe somebody didn't whammy a wave or something.
Okay.
And so I think we lost by like 15. We got third.
Okay.
But
I've got like these like little talk shit rivalries with some of my friends, some people from San Clemente, some people from Huntington. And so, I'm always repping for Oside, man. And so I haven't seen some of them since this went down, but I know they're going to be rubbing it in.
oh yeah, I mean San Clemente and Huntington. San Clemente, Huntington, Santa Cruz, Encinitas, like those are the top teams
Mhm.
and on the West Coast at least.
Right.
But even like this year, I think this year we were only five, 5 or 10 points behind Encinitas going
Okay.
into the second event. So we were right there.
Yeah, well, I think we got to make it there next year, right? I look at like San Clemente's team. I mean, they had like Kaloe and Dino and Wardo, and I mean, those
Yeah.
guys get down. I mean, that's some serious freaking hammers right there. Um, so if Osai doesn't make it, you're probably rooting for San Clemente, or who are you rooting for in this face off?
Uh, honestly, probably I was definitely rooting for San Clemente. Just because like Jet and Cade,
Mhm.
uh, and they got their whole roster is pretty stacked. At
Yeah.
the same time, I wanted like an East Coast team to do good.
Okay. Yeah, that would be kind of cool too.
Yeah,
I, I've been looking at a lot of like clips from like Florida and or especially Florida, man. They seem to have a bunch of waves this last year. I'm like jealous.
yeah. I was there in March, and honestly, I heard that when I was there, it was like the best surf Cocoa Beach has got in a while. So
Okay, yeah, I think Coco's like small a lot or something like that. So,
it is, but it was honestly like 2 to 3, and then I think like middle of the waiting period for the event was like got up to 4 foot.
and what was that the Cocoa Beach one, is that a QS or what kind of event was that? Yeah, it
That
was
was a
QS.
QS, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I go back to that screen right there real quick. Go. So that's you in the jersey. Is that Barbados or where was that? Do you know?
Yeah, that was Barbados.
Okay. So I see that you were so Cocoa Beach, Pismo, Barbados. Those are all that's like three QS events. Have you done more than those or what?
I did Morro Bay in December too.
Ah, sick. Morro Bay. How was
I
that?
did,
Were there waves for that or what?
yeah, yeah, Morro Bay. I think they called the contest off one day because it was like 10 to 15 or something. So we actually all drove down to Rincon,
Okay.
surfed Rincon for 2 or 3 hours, and then drove back up to Morro Bay.
Wow. A lot of times when I'm looking at, when the swells come in and you're kind of looking at your Surfline list of spots, man, Morro Bay is always like 8 to 12, 10 to 15 when the swells hit. I'm always like, man, that's freaking
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that whole event was like 4 to 6 plus,
Nice.
uh, until the weekend when they did the longboard event. But that was a fun event.
Yeah. And then we got this one right here throwing that frontside hack, dude. I seen you've been working on your backside too, but the shots I got right now are frontside, but that's a serious, I mean, that spray is like about as big as you over the top of the lip.
Yeah, we did that. That was a trip to Nicaragua. I went to Nicaragua twice last year.
Okay.
That was the second trip. It was pretty much a left point with like that wave's pretty much lowers but opposite. It's a long left and a steep right.
Oh,
Um
yeah, I see what you mean.
like a shorter but steep right. Oh gosh. What I do? There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
But yeah,
the
that
that
left
left
was
at
super
lowers
slippery.
is that it's a lot easier to get that left because less people are going for it. And it's like that left is really fun over there at lowers. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so you've been hitting the international stuff, so Barbados, Nicaragua. I mean, so you've been kind of getting your reef time in as well.
Oh yeah. I've
So
been
so
working on it a lot.
so the QS season's still rocking, or what's going on for the rest of the year with that?
So after we went to Barbados, we did the Jax Pro at Huntington.
Okay, yeah.
So the Jax Pro was the first event of the year. Barbados was the last event.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, they were back to back, but it was the end of season and then the beginning of the season.
Right. So
Uh,
was that your first year? Was last year doing QS, or did you dabble before that?
uh, I had only done like one event before that,
Okay.
but last year was my first like full year pretty much.
Hmm.
But this year I've got Virginia Beach in August. Um, and then I believe Steamer Lane is in November.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I got like Morro Bay, Pismo. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Florida again, but I might go to the Dominican Republic.
Hmm. The tactics on the QS is like kind of a different ball game compared to like NSSA stuff and WSA stuff.
Oh yeah. Like WSA, honestly, I like WSA better than NSSA
Hmm.
just because like you have a better chance of qualifying for the prime events.
Hmm.
But I was in prime for 3 years and I never made a heat. But
Hmm.
Barbados was the first heat that I made in a QS.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And
cool, man.
yeah, and it was my first year on the QS. So that was my goal, was just to make a heat or two and
Sure.
get a warm up pretty much.
So I mean, like, is most people like in your age bracket, or you got some like 30-year-old dudes in there? Or like how's it panning out?
All mixed around. I think the oldest guy is like 60 or 50.
Dang.
I think there's a guy that's like I think he's 50. That
Wow.
yeah, he does like every event. And then you go young as 12, I believe.
Wow. That's crazy. I
Yeah.
saw kind of side note, but yeah, I just the other day I just saw like some interview with Aaron Brooks and she was talking about how she smoked a bunch of dudes that, it's not, I think it was just a specialty event or something one time. Um,
Oh yeah, I know. That was like, oh man, it was a specialty in Indonesia, I believe.
yeah, it's so funny, because she looks all kind of like just chill and she
Yeah.
she definitely got him by surprise. So yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, at least I guess I'm glad that there's some older guys out there still hassling people, but definitely got your work cut out for you. Let's see what else I got. I got oh, right here's a little clip that this is from your Nicaragua. Oh, that backside. There's your backside.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that edit's on my YouTube channel.
Okay. What's your handle on YouTube?
Oh man, I believe it's just my name, just Mason O'Toole.
All right, all right. So there you go, everybody. Go check that out on YouTube. Fire it up and engage that thing. Here's another one. Well, this one's not you surfing, but dang, this one's tough for me to deal with.
Oh yeah, that
Oh, so was that from that barrel shot, or was that just another wave, or what?
that was another wave. Yeah.
Okay,
Just
dude.
I had already buckled it in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Um, and then that day at the harbor it was probably like 5 to 7.
Oh
And
yeah.
it wasn't even that heavy, but I did a turn wrong and it just buckled in half or
Dude,
broke in half.
that stencil job's sick too. Did you do that stencil job yourself or what?
I had my buddy Ryder do it.
Okay. He knows how to draw on the lines and stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
I didn't know what I was doing, but he held my hand through that.
Nice, man. Yeah, I wanted to hit on some of your what's it called? Some of your sponsorship stuff too. Let me actually set that up. So Asylum's kind of got your back on sponsorships too, right? I mean, obviously you work there.
Yep. That's how I Yeah, I've been there for about 3 years now.
Oh, dang, that's like work
So
history right there, dude. Jeez.
yeah. So I mean I've gotten low tide, I believe they're not doing pads and leashes anymore.
Okay.
And my manager,
Mhm.
because now I'm a manager at Asylum,
Okay.
but the general manager, he's doing repping stuff on the road, like
Mhm.
doing Pro Light Spy, all
Okay.
that. So he hooked me up with Pro Light
Oh,
and
sick.
got me in on that sponsorship. So that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, look, Perlite's got some sick gear, man, pads and leashes. And then obviously, surface sunscreen's been down for a while, keeping you a little shaded from the sun.
Oh yeah, I've had Surface for like just about a decade now.
Wow, that's. I mean, yeah, 3 years at work history and 10 years of surface, man. You're on your
Yeah.
way. Uh, I saw a new sponsor on there, which maybe this happened on your trip to Barbados or something. There's a Turtle Island Designs. It's like clothing and stuff.
Yeah. That's my dad's friend. His company, yeah, Turtle Island. I've ridden for them like for a few years now,
Hmm.
but like just recently I've started like doing more stuff for them.
Yeah.
I think we did like a bunch of modeling stuff at the pier a few
Mhm.
months ago.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've had them for a little bit, but that they're super cool. I think he also runs Ocean Current too.
Okay. Yeah.
That's another clothing brand, I believe in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar, but yeah, that's I mean, that sounds sick, man. So all this stuff definitely helps out while you're trying to campaign on the QS.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so like like you said, if you're going back east, or if you're going to Florida or Dominican Republic, like you're probably building your network of like understanding the areas, knowing where to go, who to like guide you around, and
Yeah, exactly. I've made so many friends. I've got a few friends in Costa Rica now, Panama, uh, Florida. I've met a bunch of people lately, and it's been pretty good for my networking.
yeah, surfing is cool like that, man. It kind of broadens like so far across the globe. Um, well, dude, it was so awesome to have you on, Mason. It's been a long time. I didn't know. I'm gonna kind of let people know what else I have on the queue, or what's available right now. But is there any other shout outs or uh, people you want to you know talk about?
Just my family, thanks to them. Work for letting me get like 3 months off pretty much. And
Yeah,
then
that's right.
all my sponsors, Asylum, Surface, ProLite, I know Burn Surfboards,
Yeah.
and I think I'm missing one.
So
Turtle Island.
the manager thing, you gotta like uh what you have to like coordinate when people like when they gotta work or when they don't show up or like
The thing, yeah, pretty much. And I mean,
yeah.
I'm making the schedules now too, so it's like,
Oh,
so then I gotta like when I need days off, I gotta let the general
right.
manager know. And yeah,
Yeah, I've been a manager a number of times over the years, never for surfing, but it's you get a couple pennies more, but man, you take on a different role. Man, you're still trying to be cool, you're still down with the crew, and
yeah.
yet, you got to regulate sometimes, or you have to like shuffle things around and all that stuff. So,
I'm their boss in the workplace, but outside of work, we're all friends.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, right on. Yeah, good on you for getting that work experience going, man. It's going to pay off down the road for sure.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, and uh, yeah, everybody. I have a couple other podcasts. I've been kind of getting back on my grind with all this stuff. So, uh, Mitch Farner, I did one with him last week. So if you get a chance to check that out, he's always a crack up. Threw his arm out, trying to free surf next to a competition in Huntington. Corey Whitlock, South Jetty's firing. Mason knows that's always firing over there. We're telling everybody, man. Don't go where I go surf. Go to South Jetty. It's firing. I love it. I sell it. So that's a good interview too. I actually have a couple more. Corey and I did a couple other episodes already. They're just kind of on the burner right now. I got to get around to get the editing going on those. But yeah, that one's pretty fun. Corey gives a bunch of history. He's been around the block, and so yeah, he's you can learn a little bit from that one. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it rocking, Mason. I'm just keep this thing moving, man. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and
Of course.
yeah, I like to see you surf out there. Don't I mean, don't hesitate, man. You see me out in the water, man, come press me. Get that wave from me. Back off, man. I need
No,
you guys repping.
I can't localize yet. There's too many good friends out there that they got prio over me. So
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, it's not about skill, like like you're already practicing, but I mean, depending on who's around me, I mean, I give up a wave to people who are, outrank me for whatever reason, when I can, and I drop in on some people. I'm kind of guilty, Mason, man, so I got to
it's
switch up my
okay.
surf. I rotate like three different surf spots, so when I get, too much heat at one spot, I move to the next spot and then come back
It's
around.
okay. I dropped in on someone the other day. I he 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 snaked my friend, so I was like, dude, I gotta localize you now. Like you can't.
Yeah.
I think he was French or something, but
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it
it's
was all good. He waved at me. He was like, "We're good."
yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Yeah, it's always trying to be cool, and then yeah, you see one of your boys get burned, and sometimes you got to pull that little freaking
Yeah.
little move. Um, Yeah, it's all good though, man. You got to keep it moving, and you know, there's more waves coming. So, uh,
I've caught so many waves in my life, so it doesn't even phase me. If I get snaked, I'll just surf behind them. It's all fun out there.
yeah, me too, man. If I can share the wave, I'll share it, or like, just be like, man, maybe you owe me one or two, you know, or
Yeah,
maybe I owe you two, you know. I have a problem looking back, you know what I mean? Like,
I
so
get that.
yeah. Well, right on, Mason, man. Thanks a lot again, and everybody, thanks for tuning in and checking out all the content. And we'll get back with Mason, find out what's popping in next month or two or three, and uh, check the pulse, man. And until then, Caity Simmers, let's do this. You,
Tahiti.
yeah.